Good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday, March 21st, 5:35 a.m. Central Time as I speak here. May corn futures up a quarter cent at 6.33 and a half last trade. May soybeans down 1 at 14.85. May Chicago wheat down 1 3/4 at 6.99. May Kansas City wheat up 1 3/4 at 8.31 and a quarter. May spring wheat up 1 3/4 at 8.53 and a quarter. We're going to start off with winter wheat ratings today. Some states did release ratings yesterday. We won't see national winter wheat ratings from USDA until Monday, April 3rd. That's when the first set will be released. The Kansas wheat crop improved slightly on the week. They went from 17% good to excellent up to 19% good to excellent. I think you saw a little bit of improvement in some other states, but these ratings overall are not good. Kansas is 19% good to excellent, and 50%, half of the winter wheat crop in Kansas rated poor to very poor. Oklahoma, 29% good to excellent, 43% poor to very poor. Texas is 23% good to excellent, 44% poor to very poor. Colorado is 36% good to excellent, and 23% poor to very poor. I think that those poor to very poor ratings, that's the more telling item here. And it's obvious why the conditions are so poor. We've had drought in these areas for an extended period of time. Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, Colorado, into Nebraska, into the Dakotas, western Iowa. Now, I would imagine when we see these national ratings, you're going to see much better ratings in your SRW areas of the Midwest, but your HRW areas of the Southern Plains, very much problematic. In terms of relief, there's not much precipitation in the forecast over the next 7 days. Excuse me, for these areas, pretty much high and dry. You go to the extended forecast. This is the Euro model through almost the end of the month on my screen here. And you may see some rain or snow in Kansas beginning like Sunday, Monday next week, parts of Oklahoma, parts of Colorado. It's not going to be widespread enough. So I think we've got some significant problems here. And this is not anything new, but the longer that the problems persist, the more likely it becomes that we end up with a real shortfall in terms of production. U.S. corn shipments were strong last week. USDA reported that 1.19 million metric tons of corn were inspected for export during the week ending March 16th. This print was up 17% on the week and was the best weekly print since July of last year. Still, this print here, this 1.19, that's down 21% versus the same week last year. Accumulated corn shipments for the current marketing year are down 36% versus the same period last year, so we've still got problems here. Accumulated corn export sales, not including last week's flash sales to China, are down 38% versus the same period last year. Now, last week's flash sales will be included in Thursday's weekly export sales report. You're going to need to see a real strong pace of shipments and some additional sales here if we're going to hit USDA's marketing year target and avoid a larger carryout on the U.S. balance sheets. Chinese soybean imports may rise slightly next year. USDA's China Attaché Office released an oilseed and products update this week. The office estimated new crop, this is for the 23-24 marketing year, Chinese soybean imports at 97 million metric tons. USDA doesn't officially release their new crop balance sheets until May. Current marketing year, they've got Chinese soybean imports at 96 million. So we're talking just a minor uptick in soybean imports for China next year. The record import number for China was 99.7. That was during the 2020-2021 marketing year. The office cited modest growth in the country's animal protein sector and the removal of COVID-related restrictions, but they also said that high soybean meal prices and low returns in the livestock sector could continue to disadvantage soybean meal and feed rations. So they're talking steady to slightly higher soybean demand in China for that new crop marketing year. Russia has warned that the Black Sea grain deal could be dropped after 60 days. Lots of back and forth over the weekend. I talked about those headlines yesterday. But it appears for the moment as if the deal has been extended until May 18th. Ukraine and the West had preferred a longer extension. Putin said this week in a speech, a fair and comprehensive implementation of the Black Sea grain deal can only be ensured if our position is taken into account. And depending on that, we will deal with the issue of our further participation in it. So kind of same story, different day here. Russia continues to accuse the West of hindering its own grain and fertilizer shipments through sanctions on related entities. Still, we know that China prefers to see Ukrainian ports open, and that's a factor that could persuade Putin to perhaps keep this deal in place beyond May 18th. Guys, I did a video yesterday for my premium subscribers in 4 charts. Why does the Black Sea matter? We went through the new production estimates, new export estimates. What are the things that really matter right now? Because a whole lot has changed. Where is the risk? Is it corn? Is it wheat? Is it both? If you guys are interested in these premium videos, there's new stuff every single day. Go to standardgrain.com. Click the subscribe button. I've made the subscription process super painless, guys. It takes like 1 minute. You can sign up with your credit card here. $50 a month. Cancel it anytime. No other fee. No other obligation. Nobody will try to sell you anything else. Just a ton of info direct from me every single business day. Back to the Black Sea. Ukraine's grain harvest will decline again this year. Combined grain and oilseed harvest is expected at 63 million metric tons total, down from 70 last year. So they're talking a 10% decline. That estimate is via a Ukraine Ag Ministry official that was cited by Reuters. Now, earlier this month, a different entity, Ukraine's Academy of Agricultural Sciences, said that grain harvest could fall more drastically because of smaller acreage and reduced yields. To put this in perspective, from 2021 to 2022, pre-war to post-war, corn production in Ukraine declined by 36%. Harvested corn area declined by 27%. They're down to about 10 million acres of corn harvested. Wheat production declined by 36% pre-war to post-war. Harvested wheat acreage declined by 28%, and you're likely to see those numbers shrink again. So the war has had a devastating impact on agriculture in Ukraine, of course. Soybean harvest remains slightly delayed in Brazil. Well-followed private group Safras and Mercado estimated that the crop is 58.6% harvested versus about 70% the same week last year. The forecast is still kind of wet for a lot of Brazil, so you could see some additional delays in regard to soybean harvest, but make no mistake, that's a record bean crop in Brazil. Corn planting continues. Argentina slated to see some rains here. I think the general idea is that if these rains hit, it's going to be too little too late. Soybean harvest in Argentina, where they've had this 60-year drought, typically begins in April. May is kind of your main month for harvest in Argentina. Late planting in Argentina could push that soybean harvest back just a little bit this year. Guys, April grain options expire on Friday. If you have any remaining open positions there, make sure you take a look. Cattle futures were lower yesterday, just marginally lower following that cattle on feed report on Friday, which was mostly neutral. U.S. dollars about flat this morning. The stock market attempting a rally. The S&P's up 31. Dow Jones up 290 ahead of the cash open. Gold's off $13. Silver off just a little bit. Crude oil attempting a little bit of a recovery here this morning. Still below $70 in the WTI. Everybody have a great day today. I will talk to you Wednesday.